Peace and respect to you all. Welcome to, well, not quite Demolished Doctrine, but Space Cadet talking to me like I'm 5 years old because I want to learn this thoroughly. So, welcome, Space Cadet. Thanks for doing this little series. Well, it's not going to be little, is it? This series with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being interested in hosting and everything. Uh-oh, I think I have an echo. Hold on. Sorry. That's always fun.
I tell you what, you just do the same thing, okay? And I'll work on your volume and I'll echo cancellation and all that stuff if it needs be.
Oh, okay. I actually had a tab open. I didn't realize it. That was like your the thing waiting, and it started up automatically, and so it started. Yeah, so that wasn't echo from the mic. It was echo because I had a YouTube playing in the background.
Peace and respect also to Plastic Jesus and Gabe's 3D videos, which I'm thinking that's like a YouTube channel, Gabe's 3D videos. In which case, everybody go and check him out too. All right. So,
how do you feel about other participants joining if they want to?
Oh, I don't have feelings. Sorry.
You don't have feelings? Okay.
Nah,
well, I would welcome
like
anyone that wants to come in and go along with this and dive into it and ask questions and stop us to do examples or whatever you want to do. So, PJ, I'm looking at you out there in the audience.
Yeah, PJ, feel free to hit that link, even though it reads Von Erich. Left click here.
Yeah.
Or Gabe's, if you want to come in, please feel free to come in. I agree with Halcyonic that the more minds seeing it as many possible ways and gaining the same information, reviewing the information is going to allow more minds to understand.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird thought, right?
Possibly multifaceted reinforcement, which is good. And you know what else is that, this information is somewhat objective as far as it is specific rules for thinking, reasoning, and all this other stuff. So, it is, it's interesting to see different minds coming, to the information, but also not necessarily interpreting it in any way that changes it so that it's no longer what it's supposed to be. It kind of has to be viewed as it is. And so that's an adjustment sometimes, but that's what a lot of learning is. So this
Good
is
stuff, though.
Yeah, so we have been going into this area of logic called deductive logic, which has to do with the structure of arguments and the forms of arguments. And we just came up to this section 7 here, form and content in syllogistic logic. And let me see how long this is. It's really not that long. What I think I might do is go through this because it has been very useful and then switch over to the other one. So, and this is from the University of Massachusetts, by the way. So, section 7, form and content in syllogistic logic. And my cat.
Yep, as soon as you sit down at the computer, the cat needs something. That is par for
Exactly.
course.
Yep. It would be weird if it didn't happen.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't know how to act.
In order to understand more fully the notion of logical form, we will briefly examine syllogistic logic, which was invented by Aristotle in 384 to 322 BC.
Is there anything you can do to make that white part larger?
Yes.
Would you please? There we go.
All right. And something else I'll just make a little side note of I just absolutely love that we can study something from this long ago and that it was well documented and that it still applies today.
Amen to that. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, for sure. The arguments studied in syllogistic logic are called syllogisms, more precisely categorical syllogisms. Syllogisms have a couple of distinguishing characteristics which make them peculiar as arguments. First of all, every syllogism has exactly two premises, where in general an argument can have any number of premises. Secondly, the statements that constitute a syllogism, two premises and one conclusion, come in very few models, so to speak. More precisely, all such statements have forms similar to the following statements. All Lutherans are Protestants. All dogs are collies. Some Lutherans are Republicans. Some dogs are cats. No Lutherans are Methodists. No dogs are pets. Some Lutherans are not Democrats. Some dogs are not mammals. In these examples, the words written in bold-faced letters are descriptive terms, and the remaining words are logical terms relative to syllogistic logic, meaning all, are, some, no, or none. In syllogistic logic, the descriptive terms the descriptive terms all refer to classes. For example, the class of cats or the class of mammals. On the other hand, in syllogistic logic, the logical terms are all used to express relations among classes. For example, the statements on line 1 state that a certain class, Lutherans or dogs, is entirely contained in another class, Protestants or collies. Note that the following about the 4 pairs of statements above, in each case, the pair contains both a true statement on the left and a false statement on the right. Also, in each case, the statements are about different things. Thus, we can say that the 2 statements differ in content. Note, however, that in each pair above, the 2 statements have the same form. Thus, although all Lutherans are Protestants, differs in content from all dogs are collies. These 2 statements have the same form.
So I want to at least review this as a Venn diagram. Okay. Even though it's going to be very simple Venn diagrams, peace and respect to William Freeman, I think that it's a building process, and we should go ahead and do that. Are you able to do that?
Sure. Which argument are we going to go with? Like this, all Lutherans are Protestants?
Sure. Let's. It doesn't matter which ones we do. I just want to do one from each.
Okay. For instance, like let's just disregard B for the moment. And let's say we say this is Protestants. Oh, so tiny. Okay. And it was Lutherans, right?
I believe so,
all
yes.
Lutherans are Protestants? Okay. Is that the right spelling?
It doesn't matter. Everyone has the idea.
Okay, so yeah, so there are no Lutherans that are not Protestants. All Lutherans are Protestants. If that makes sense.
So the larger class in that, imagining it as a Venn diagram, Protestants is the larger group, and it contains Lutherans. Right. So Lutherans is completely in Protestants, and there's no part of Lutherans not in Protestants, right?
Right.
And we don't know the smaller
what else,
group.
Right, and we don't know what else Protestants might contain, but we do know that it contains all of Lutherans. And let's see, what was one of the other ones? Some dogs are cats. No dogs are pets. Which other one could we do with that other circle?
Let's just do the left-hand ones that are true to keep it simple.
Okay. Hey, Beck. Hey, Ox. Hey, Pixie.
Peace and respect, Beck and Ox and
Hi,
Pixie.
Jody. Hello, Jill. Okay. So no Lutherans are Methodists. We could do that one. Let's see. So here's Methodists. Right. Is that the right spelling again?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm kind of
It's okay. Be picky. It's all right.
Okay. So the statement was no Lutherans are Methodists. Whoops. No Lutherans are Methodists. So we could probably just
let's make Protestants a bigger circle.
Whoops. Hold on. Bigger. Okay. Should we? Do you want to put something else in there?
No, I just want to say that it's possible.
Okay. So no Methodists are Lutherans. That was the statement, right? No Lutherans are Methodists. Okay, so Lutherans is somewhere outside of Methodists. We don't know exactly where else. I mean, we know it's inside of Protestants, but in this case, all we know is that it's not inside of Methodists. No part of it is inside of Methodists, right?
No part of Lutherans is inside of Methodists.
Right.
I thought the statement was no Methodists are Lutherans.
No Lutherans are Methodists.
No Lutherans are Methodists. Okay, so Methodist has to be completely outside of Lutherans, right?
Yeah.
But is Methodists outside of Protestants?
Well, that wasn't part of the that was not part of the premises, so I don't know. That premise didn't provide any other information, right?
Very good.
So from these premises, this is all we know, that Methodists and Lutherans are separate, right?
Right.
Is that right? God, this is so obnoxious. Okay. So this is one of those arguments, which was all Lutherans are Protestant. The other one was no Lutherans are Methodists. And that's this over here. Okay. And you know what? In some places, I think it's in this text that we're using, they always want to seem to use a 3-circle layout for their Venn diagrams and just block out with like different colors or textures what does and doesn't apply. But I haven't been doing that because I don't have a program that does that kind of drawing easily. So
that's okay. Anyway. I don't even know what you just said.
Okay. Okay. So let's go. Okay. So we were on here. Okay. So you stopped us right around this right here. Mm-hmm. In syllogistic logic, the descriptive terms refer to classes. For example, the class of cats or the class of mammals. On the other hand, in syllogistic logic, the logical terms are all used to express relations among classes. For example, the statements on line 1 state that a certain class, Lutheran or dogs, is entirely contained in another class, Protestants or collies. Note the following about...
I said yes.
Okay, note the following about the 4 pairs of statements above. Let's get them in view here. In each case, the pair contains both a true statement, okay, we went through this, on the left and the false statement on the right. In each case, the statements are about different things. Thus, we can say that the 2 statements differ in content. However, note that in each pair above, the 2 statements have the same form. Thus, although all Lutherans are Protestants, differs in content from all dogs are collies, these 2 statements have the same form. The sentences 1 through 4 are what we call concrete sentences. They are all actual sentences of a particular actual language, English. Concrete sentences are to be distinguished from sentence forms. Basically, a sentence form may be obtained from a concrete sentence by replacing all of the descriptive terms by letters which serve as placeholders. For example, sentences 1 through 4 yield the following sentence forms. So is the opposite of a contestant.
Peace and respect, okay. Doc Fearsome.
So this is basically all of those arguments above just put into this form where we're replacing the phrases with a letter. All X or Y, some X or Y, no X or Y, some X are not Y. The process can also be reversed. Concrete sentences may be obtained from sentence forms by uniformly substituting descriptive terms for the letters. Any concrete sentence obtained from a sentence form in this way is called a substitution instance of that form. For example, all cows are mammals and all cats are felines are both substitution instances of sentence form F1, which is right here.
Okay, so when we're using the word are, mm-hmm. it's it is direct identity or numerical identity. Cats are felines. So that's why those terms would be interchangeable.
Well, all cats are felines isn't the same as all felines are cats.
Why isn't it?
Well, let's do it with something else. All watermelons are fruits. All fruits are watermelons. See how that doesn't work?
Okay, so it has to be in this particular order in this case. In these cases.
Now what we can do is we can always reverse it by saying like no X are not Y. Right? Because that's
no
like
X or not Y. Yeah, okay.
Right. That means that all X are Y. But yeah, like if you say all cats are felines, or if you say, let's say all Lutherans are Protestants, you can't reverse it and say all Protestants are Lutherans, because I think, let's say they said we're talking about classes and let's see, what does it say here? Classes and relations among classes. So Lutherans and dogs are classes. Their relation to Protestants is all, right? All Lutherans are Protestants. All dogs are collies. This is wrong, right? Because all dogs are not collies, but the form's the same, right? Okay, so we're talking about the substitution instance of the forms. For examples, all cows are mammals and all cats are felines are both substitutions in the instance of sentence form 1. Sentence form 1 could be all anything are anything, but it might not be true what you say. You know,
sure.
All coins are money, but all money is not coins. Same sort of thing, I guess. Okay, so just as there is a distinction between concrete statements and statement forms, there's also a distinction between concrete arguments and arguments form. A concrete argument is an argument consisting entirely of concrete statements. An argument form is an argument consisting entirely of statement forms. The following are examples of concrete arguments. All Lutherans are Protestants. Some Lutherans are Republicans. Therefore, some Protestants are Republicans.
So let's do that as a VIN.
Okay.
A1.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to capture this really quick so I can throw it up over here.
That's easy.
Actually, I'll just put it on the side. And can I grab it and drag it around, please? No? Move. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted either, darling. Maybe this program isn't that good. There we go. Okay.
You'll get used to it.
I'm just like every time. Okay, I think I need to go back to this select thing so I can move things. Okay. So all Lutherans are Protestants. Okay, we've got that handled.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering why. There we go.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to move Lutherans out of Protestants for now until...
well, we have to... Okay, so Republicans, they fit in here too somewhere, right? So
yeah, but Republicans is kind of a long word, so I'm thinking about how big the circles need to be.
Okay, let me see.
Maybe you can just make it bigger.
A little bigger. Make this a little bigger. Okay, when we say some, so all Lutherans are Protestants. Cool, we got that. Some Lutherans are Republicans. So this is where that three model, that three circle model, I think would come in. Let me see if I can pull that together real quick here. I'm going to scoot this over here and scoot this over here. This a little bigger, make this a little smaller.
Nope.
Okay. And what?
This is wrong. This is wrong.
Well, I don't know yet. I'm not sure yet. They have this model in a lot of the examples. Where would this other thing go? Because we've got Lutherans fully in. Okay, so all Lutherans are Protestants, right? So we have to have them all the way inside Protestants, right?
Yes.
Must. Yeah?
Yes.
But then, how do we've got some Protestants, which are here. Some Lutherans are Republicans and some Protestants.
You put your circle over your text box. Yeah.
So this is Protestants. Yeah, I got to send that back.
Yep. Good so far.
So some Lutherans are Republicans. So Republicans, we don't know anything about whether or not they're Protestants, right? But
no, they have to be if they're within. They have to be within Protestants because Lutherans is a smaller group within Protestants.
Right, but then where does Republicans stick out the rest of the way? Right, because it doesn't say all. It doesn't say all Republicans are Lutheran. It says some Lutherans are Republican.
Yes.
So, let's see.
How about if you make Protestants bigger so we can keep the letters fairly large?
Yeah, let me just get rid of this. This for now. Let's deal with this one thing. One thing at a time. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Lutherans, get in there. Whoa.
Your Lutherans are crooked.
Okay.
Okay, now Lutherans needs to be at the edge of Protestants somewhere, so because you're right. There's some part that will not overlap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it needs to be close to the same size circle, so they have an adjoining line or the appearance of a joining line for some distance. Okay, now you can get in and out without looking at it like it's talking about Protestants.
Like this, right?
Yes.
But look, it says some Protestants are Republicans. So how does that figure in here? Do we have to? But this is the conclusion. These right here, these things are supposed to tell us everything, right?
Yes,
those two things are supposed to tell us everything. So we have all Lutherans are Protestants. We have some Lutherans are Republican. Here's Republican. I need to put the label in.
Yep.
And maybe change the color.
That looks pretty good. Yeah, if the color was different, it would help.
Yeah,
I suppose that'd be all right. Yep.
Yep.
I like how they're semi-clear.
All right.
Or not.
Whoops. Hold on. We will go back to that and go back to this. Oh, come on now. That's not what I wanted.
I think 73.5% opacity would be perfect for this.
I'm trying to get the transparency down.
There it goes. There it goes. There we go. So you call it transparency. I call it opacity. You know, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Alpha on the thing. So anyway, so Republicans. Some Lutherans are Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And so their conclusion, therefore, some Protestants are Republicans.
That's true.
I suppose it would be since all Lutherans are Protestants, right?
Yes. I think you have perfectly arranged your Venn diagram.
There we go. So that's what the problem was. Why does this keep going back to full fucking transparency?
Because it does not love you.
I guess not. Okay, so this is the section here where Republicans are Protestants because Lutherans are automatically Protestants, and some Lutherans are Republicans. All right. Are we satisfied?
I think that's got it.
Okay.
I feel like it's
maybe not the way everybody would do it, but it does do the job, I think. The only thing that it doesn't account for, the only thing it doesn't account for is the possibility of these Republicans being purely purely Protestant without being Lutheran.
Right.
Does,
Well,
it does
I mean,
say
because we're
that.
using circles and we don't have flats, we can't actually do that. But I think this is as close to representation as you're going to get.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why? All right. I think I found a different program that I was working with, and it wasn't this one. This is probably one of the ones that I rejected, and I just can't find the other tab. Anyway. Okay.
I'm going to say this is one of the most entertaining shows on logic I've ever seen.
I wish there was an easier Venn diagram program that would be a little bit easier to deal with all the little sections and all that stuff.
Ox was right. Ox was right. Ox was commenting in the side chat, like, why is it always circles? What's with the scientific prejudice? Why not hexagons? And in this case, he's right. Hexagons would have worked better.
You're probably right about that. Yeah.
I mean,
they have a variety of shapes to choose
right?
from. I just picked circles. So.
Oh, you're the guilty one. I see.
I could have done it with stars or something,
Are you also prejudiced against like platonic solids?
No, I have nothing against them. Generally speaking.
We'll see.
Okay, so all A2 argument, all Lutherans are Protestants. Some Protestants are Republicans. Some Lutherans are Republicans.
Ooh, let's do that one too.
That sounds fun. Hold on one second.
I just realized it's just changing the names in it. It's the same Venn diagram.
Yeah, it's just like you're right. It's just reordering some of the names.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Now. I don't think we really need to do that, do we?
No.
I mean, if you want to.
Well, let's look at it real quick. Okay, so. Okay, so all Lutherans are Protestants. Got it. Some Protestants are Republicans. Some Lutherans are Republicans.
All you have to do is move the pink circle up where it's hitting Protestant more prevalently.
Okay. Hold on.
That's it. That's the only difference. Or I'm wrong. Whichever.
Like put it like here somewhere or something?
Nope, it needs to be bridging outside too, because we cannot say that Republicans
are these two things.
Protestants. Nope.
Right. So it's like here.
There you go. Something like that.
Right. It's got both, but it's also got this undefined area.
Right. Which is probably the larger percentage. So this is not to scale. I'm just saying it's not to scale,
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Note, henceforth, we use the slash symbol to abbreviate therefore. In order to obtain the argument form associated with A1, we can simply replace each descriptive term by its initial letter. We can do this because the descriptive terms in A1 all have different initial letters. This yields to the following argument form. An alternative version of the form using XYZ is given to the right.
I want to comment on this. We run into this problem in industrial electronics.
Okay.
In factories and factory wiring. And what they decided to do in that is, because the word blue and the word black start with the same letter, being B, they made one B and the other BL.
They could have made it just the next unique letter, but whatever.
What was it? Well, no, it wasn't BL. It's been a couple years, like 25 or more years. Hold on a second. It was B and BK, I think. Anyway, the point is that you could use another letter from the same word from the same word. If you have two words that start the same letters, you could just use the next prominent different letter. that's not in
just
the
like
other word.
any letter that represents the word or the phrase. Yeah,
Right.
totally. Yeah, whatever letter is going to be unique and makes it easy to understand, I guess.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm stuffing the last dumpling in my little collection here in my face, and then I'll be right with you. Okay, hold on. I guess we'll read these in a second.
I'll read if that's quite all right. Okay. I'm going to read because we've talked about so many things. In order to obtain the argument form associated with A1, we can simply replace each descriptive term by its initial letter, which was what we just clarified. We can do this because the descriptive terms in A1 all have different initial letters. Of course, you could substitute and use multiple letters and still abbreviate a lot. This yields the following argument form. An alternative version of the form using X, Y, Z is given to the right. Instead of saying all L are P, you could say all X are Y, or some L are R, you could state as some X are Z, and some P are R could be stated as slash some Y are Z. And in case someone didn't notice, that L, P, and R were Lutheran, Protestant, and Republican. By a similar procedure, we can convert concrete argument A2 into an associated argument form, as in all LRP could be expressed as all X are Y. Some P or R could be expressed as some Y or Z. And slash or conclusion, some L or R could be expressed as slash some X or Z. Yes, right. Yes, native atheist, we is learning the syllogisms and some, we're going to get eventually to not so syllogisms and downright ludicrous jisms. That's what we're going to do. And also the real
serious jisms.
Them and the real serious ones, yeah.
Okay, so observe that argument A2 is obtained from argument A1 simply by interchanging the conclusion and the second premise. In other words, these two arguments, which are different, consist of precisely the same statements. They are different because their conclusions are different. As we will later see, they are different in that one is a valid argument and the other is an invalid argument. Do you know which one is which? In which one does the truth of the premises guarantee the truth of the conclusion?
Ooh, say that again. That was complicated.
In which one does the truth of the premises guarantee, like a necessitate, in other words, the truth of the conclusion?
Which one what?
Which of these two arguments here? Let's see here. Well, I think it's F1 and F2 is what they're talking about, or they were talking about A1 and A2. Are those the same? Okay, here's A1 and A2. All Lutherans are Protestants. Some Lutherans are Republicans. Some Protestants are Republicans.
I would say true.
This is true.
Yeah.
All Lutherans are Protestants. Some Protestants are Republicans. Some Lutherans are Republicans, because here's where we get tricky here. See, all Protestants are not Lutherans, right?
Now, in our Venn diagram, we made it true.
Let's take a look. All Lutherans are Protestants. Some Protestants are Republicans. Some Lutherans are Republicans. We made a mistake there. All Lutherans are Protestants. Cool. Some Protestants are Republicans. Okay. But we don't know if they're Lutherans. We just know that they're here, right?
Do we need a second pink circle to accurately represent this argument?
Say what?
Do we need a second pink circle of Republicans to accurately represent this argument?
No, because there's really only one premise that contains Republicans, and that's the second line there. It's the second premise. Some Protestants are Republicans. So look, we've got Lutherans well inside of Protestants, right? No problem there.
Yes. Right.
Some Protestants are Republicans. We don't know which ones. If they're the Lutheran
Right.
Protestants
Does
or
not
the
necessarily
Protestants
Lutherans.
other, right?
Right.
Protestants
Yeah.
other. So we can't guarantee that some Lutherans are Republicans because we don't know anything about these Republicans except for some of them are Protestants.
Right on.
Right? Okay, so this is invalid because this conclusion does not, it's not guaranteed by the premises. It doesn't necessarily follow. Okay. Interesting.
That was a good review.
Yeah. Okay. In deriving an argument form from a concrete argument, care must be taken in assigning letters to the descriptive terms. First of all, letters must be assigned to different terms. We cannot use L for both Lutherans and Protestants. Secondly, we cannot use two different letters for the same term. We cannot use L for Lutherans in one statement and use Z for it in another. Demonstrating invalidity using the method of counterexample.
I got a question.
Okay, sure.
Who the hell would intuitively mix those things together?
I don't know. I think it's just maybe a matter of making like an honest mistake, maybe, and then being confused later because of it, maybe. Or then maybe they're just saying you have to pay attention and be consistent in how you're doing this. I take it as just a side note, because you never know what audience you're speaking to when you write something like this, and this is one of those things that you do have to be kind of careful with, I guess. Just like our little Venn diagram, like we thought it was right, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me take a quick aside to the other text before we go on to this demonstrating invalidity. Although, let me see how long this is. That's pretty long. Okay. Let me go to the other text for a second. Let's take a look at what it says here. I'm hoping it's not too redundant. Okay, let me just do a quick scan here.
Let me engage with the side chat just real briefly.
Sure.
Did anyone enter any questions into the Q&A list? I'm still experimenting, trying to figure out how this Q&A thing works. Did you guys put anything in the side chat or anything in the Q&A list? If you put something in the Q&A list specifically, please type 1 and hit enter. So I know that you did that, because I do not see any of your questions in the Q&A. I asked the following. I asked the following. Are you learning what you thought you would be? And how could these presentations be better? And I don't see how to pull that up so I can read what, maybe it's this button right here.
Personally, I think it would be cool if we had about a total of 4 people or so in here, and people stopped to clarify for whatever, and we worked out problems. And like ideally, I would think that we could go to, I don't know, little quizzes or exercises, even if it was on a different site, to identify like, these kinds of arguments or this kind of specific situation, and just cross-reference and cross-clarify. I think personally that would improve things. So I guess we'll have to maybe do that a little bit, even though
that would be great.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll be back in about 60 seconds.
All right, guys. And to fill time, I'm going to tell you my favorite and most complex joke. When I first got to Santa Fe, New Mexico, I didn't have transportation, so I rode the city bus. And it's one of those cities that puts art on the sides of the city buses. You know, they have these large stickers printed and they put them on the bus. The sticker of the art on this bus was edifying is the same thing as like informative. So on the side of this bus was Ernie and Bert and Snuffleupagus and Big Bird and you know, all those. What was the other one? Pretty sure Oscar the Grouch was on there too. Pretty sure. Anyway, we got traveling down the road, and at the next stop, there was these two really, really morbidly obese women, and they were chatting and giggling. And apparently, I didn't, you know, but noise is intrusive. I wasn't trying to overhear, but I did anyway. That they were kind of chatting it up because it turned out that they met at the bus stop, and both of them were named Patty. At the next stop, there was this funky old black guy got on, and he introduced himself to me because he'd never seen me before, which I thought was really nice. If I'm remembering his name right, it was Lester Weiss. Along with Lester Weiss got on this gentleman that was actually mentally handicapped, but it was a cute kind of mentally handicapped where people liked him. You know, he was really innocent and sweet, kind of childlike. And I guess he didn't consider it an insult that the people in that area referred to him as Special Ross. So anyway, never mind all that stuff. So we finally get to the end of the run downtown. They said the emergency brake. And I'm like picking up my backpack, and I looked around, everyone's taking their shoes off and their socks off, and their weirdest damn thing, they're picking at their bunions. And it just really creeped me out. It's like some kind of weird tradition around here or something, I guess. But I swore I was going to get myself a car, because never again could I ride with two obese Patties, Special Ross, Lester Weiss picking bunions on a Sesame Street bus.
Oh my God. But that's awesome.
Thank you. That is so hard to tell.
That's great.
Try to remember all that stuff in that order. Go ahead.
No. Just straight up no. Okay, so we have an option here. And how long have we been on, by the way? About half an hour so far?
42 minutes and 37, 38, 39. Shit. 40.
Okay. So we have an option here to go on to this section, which is pretty large. And it actually, like, I was looking at the end of it. Now I may, you know, I kind of intimidate easy sometimes, and some of the stuff at the end here, I'm not, well, maybe it's not intimidating. I don't know. But we also have not really gone into this text. I'm just not sure if it's going to be redundant or not, but I guess we could just find out.
Redundant is good.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if it is redundant, it'll be redundant in other ways, in different ways. So
yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that, and then we'll wrap it up at the end of that section.
Okay, yeah, and it's not huge. You know, it's... Okay, so part 1, introduction.
Well, you don't have to be insulting about it. I mean, I'm sorry, but...
Introduction of the terms of the syllogism. Let us evaluate the following argument offered by Councilman William Myers. University students should have the right to graduate if they dress decently. When you accept the responsibility of graduation into our society, you should look like a citizen. As we analyze Councilman Myers' argument, we will introduce the nomenclature of syllogistic arguments.
Yes, I love that joke too. Peace and respect, Stephanie. Do you know how to tell that one?
I've heard it, but I don't know the whole story of the joke.
We'll do it next show. Okay.
Okay, so in order to evaluate this casual argument with charity, we need to be able to translate the argument reliably into standard form categorical categorical propositions. And by the way, they have like, there is a specific application of the word charity as it applies to reasoning.
And what's that application?
I believe it's called the principle of charity.
The principle of charity, he sounds important. Or is it a she?
We should try to understand ideas before criticizing them. Arguments should aim at finding the truth, not winning the fight. This means that we should be charitable to people we're in conversations with by trying to find as much sense in their thinking as we can.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of a dirty tactic, though, because if you try to understand someone's argument and you can steel man their argument as proof that you're being charitable, then you understand it well enough to argue with it. And if you haven't done that, you probably won't be able to argue well.
Well, I mean, can you give an example?
Sure. I know a Christian who has a very convoluted and multifaceted melding of several different religious theologies that he calls his own. And that actually would allow him, because it's so unfamiliar at first, it would allow him to escape in several different directions, because he can just go, if you say, oh, argument this, and he says, no, escape this way. Because he's old enough that he's worked through several escapes, because he did realize problems in his youth. Okay. So if I don't understand irenic, oops, I said his name. Very well, then I can't. Yeah, PJ knew I meant irenic. He already wrote it down in the side chat. Then I can't, if I can't understand his position, I can't point out his inconsistencies.
Okay. All right. In order to evaluate this casual argument with charity, we need to be able to translate the argument reliably into standard form categorical propositions. The first step is to find the conclusion. University students should have the right to graduate if they dress decently. The conclusion has the form P if Q, where P and Q stand for different statements. Such conditional statements are often best handled with symbolic logic, but here we want to analyze the argument in terms of categorical form. Let's step back and see what P if Q means. Suppose P stands for the bird is black, and Q stands for the bird is a raven. Our statement form P if Q in this case would be the bird is black if it is a raven. All standard categorical form, we could translate all ravens are black. That's an assumption we can make from this, right?
Right on.
Using this model, we can translate Meyer's conclusion as all decently dressed persons are persons with the right to graduate. I would change that to students, because not all persons are students, but the subject
nice
of the
catch.
the subject of the conclusion is called the minor term of the syllogism, decently dressed students. The predicate of the conclusion is called the major term of the syllogism, persons with the right to graduate.
Because that's the larger point, the major term.
Yeah, and earlier I made some notes. I was just using like Chat GPT to find some information out about formal fallacies, and this is part of the set that I was dealing with. Is they call it the let me see if I can find it here. Hold on.
Do share.
Yeah, I'm going to share. I think I have.
Even if we have to switch screens, we can manage that.
Yeah, I will throw it in here. I think I can. Okay, so All right. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger.
Lovely.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll show you just quickly, since I have these sort of all in order, I think. So this is the list of formal fallacies and a quick little example on each one. But this was what I was talking about here, the illicit major and the illicit minor. I'm not sure if those are the exact same things we're talking about here, but it did catch my eye.
I think it's a related topic.
Okay.
Because in the tan sheets, we haven't found the word illicit yet.
True. All A are B, some C are A, therefore some C are B. All A are B.
Can we do that? Can we do that as a Venn?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we could do all of these as a Venn eventually because there's all kinds of examples here. Let me see here. Go back to here. Let's grab this, copy it, and we'll go to my little sketch program here. Okay. Right. Okay. So all A are B. So B would be the bigger circle, right? All A are B. All C are B. We've got C over here. Therefore, all C are A. So that doesn't follow.
Okay, I think you got your representation good. Go ahead.
Yeah, all we know is all C are B. We don't know anything about C and A's relationship.
Right. So that's an illicit.
That is the fallacy of the illicit major.
Right. Okay.
These are all formal fallacies. Formal fallacies only apply to deductive logic. Illicit minor. Let's get that one. So this is the illicit major. I mean, I could save all these too, but they're just as easy to just quickly create. Okay, so all A are B. Cool. Some C are A. All right.
Okay, got to overlap there.
Okay, so all A are B. Some C. Hold on. Some C are A.
Got that. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on now.
No, let's look. No, don't go too fast. I know you already want to fix it. No, don't fix it yet. Don't fix it yet. Okay. Don't fix it yet because this is an excellent example of why it's wrong.
Right.
Okay, so we have some overlap between C and A, which is indicated in the second line. Some C, some, not all, are A. Now but that doesn't necessarily mean that the part not A is sticking out in B. It could be sticking out to the other side into the white. So now move it.
The C, right? This one?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have some.
Which you were going to do about a minute ago before I stopped you.
I wanted to, yeah.
Yes.
So we have some CRA, therefore some C are B, right? Because all A are B.
Right. But that's not necessarily so. It's a false assumption. Or an illicit minor.
Right, but I'm just trying to figure something out here. So all A are B. Some C are A. But since some C are A, they are also B since all A are B, right?
No, they're not.
Therefore,
some C are B.
Right.
No.
We just don't. We just
No.
All A are B, right? If some C are A, they are also B by default since A is all A is B, right? All A are B. So they are B's through
they're still in B regardless, aren't they?
Well, they are B via A. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
But we just don't know about the rest of C because it says some, not all, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So why is this an illicit minor? What's the problem?
Well,
If
let's read
the
what
pink
the
were if the pink were in the middle, overlapping A and B equally, what would be wrong with that?
If the pink were in the middle, overlapping A and B equally, like this, or what?
Like that. Yeah, something like that.
Because okay, and this is because this middle one here, some C R A,
Yes.
is all it gives us about C, right?
Yes.
We don't know that what is the rest of C is.
Right.
Right. It could be whatever is out here, but but since some C is A, we actually shouldn't have any overlap so that it makes like it should be like that so that it doesn't include any
Well,
pure
actually,
B.
it'd have to be an infinitely small circle because they're not the same actual. Or if you wanted to use 6-sided ones, we could use flats or squares. We could use flats.
True. So the way I see this, and we can go and read about whether or not we're right because I'm sure it's going to tell us. But all A are B, all C.
Okay, let's go back and see how this works out.
C are A. Yeah, let's look. So let's see. It's over where? Here? No, here. Yes.
All your tabs look the same to me. I can't tell.
Okay, so using this model, we can. Okay, so this was the. Wait, we had a different one up here, didn't we?
I don't understand what you just said.
This is from this all A or B, some C or A.
Yeah, the illicit major and illicit minor. Yeah.
Right, and you know what? I have. Let me look at the illicit minor and illicit major specific pages that I made. Okay. Let's see if we can understand this. The fallacy of the illicit minor is a logical fallacy that occurs when the minor term in a categorical syllogism is not distributed in the premise, but is distributed in the conclusion. Here are some examples. All dogs are animals. Some dogs are mammals. Therefore, some dogs are mammals.
You misread that.
All dogs are animals. Oh, some animals are mammals. Therefore, some dogs are mammals.
Right.
Okay. I would have to say all animals are mammals in order for that to work, right?
Hold on a second. I'm still processing.
Okay.
Want
me to diagram it?
No, I want to read it several times over.
Okay.
All dogs are animals. Some animals are mammals. Therefore, some dogs are mammals. Of course, the part that's messing up my brain, I think, is it's true that all dogs are mammals. But I have to dismiss that because we're just looking at the logic of this. We're not looking at the truth of it.
Right.
So we can say some animals are mammals. That's necessary in this. And all dogs are animals. And that's necessary in this.
Right.
Therefore, some dogs are mammals. Can we extrapolate that some dogs are mammals from the first two statements? All dogs are animals. Some animals are mammals. And evidently, it wouldn't be pointing out something wrong if you could do that. So why can't you do that?
The way that I'm seeing what's wrong with this is that we know that dogs are animals. We know that some animals are mammals, but we don't know if dogs fall into the overlap.
So the word some right there.
Yeah.
Whereas the first statement says all, the second says some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's not enough information here to say that some dogs are mammals.
Right, because we don't know if dogs is in where animals and mammals overlap.
Right. Okay, so I see the problem. And I think it would be useful to also read the line under that. Yeah, that one.
So I had to take like a gigantic drink of water. Okay, so the argument is fallacious. Oh, yes. This argument is fallacious because the term mammals is distributed in the conclusion, but not in the premise that mentions dogs. Therefore, we cannot conclude that some dogs are mammals just because they are animals.
I think that's fairly clear.
Yeah, it's clear, and we just said it a different way, I think. All politicians are public servants. Some actors are public servants. Therefore, some actors are politicians. No. Right? Because we don't know where they fall. Like politicians are inside the circle of public servants. Some actors, so there's a circle half in and half out of that one, are public servants, but we don't know if they overlap or if they touch, where actors and politicians come together. Like we don't know if they come together at all or overlap at all. So we can't draw this conclusion from these premises, right?
Do you think it would be edifying to do these both as Venn diagrams? Because I think it would be.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. Let's see. So let's just grab this. Okay. Bigger. Thank you. Okay, so here's the mammals, right? Or no, animals.
Yeah. And then A becomes dogs, right?
Yeah. And so we've got all dogs are animals. Some animals are mammals. So this little guy can get bigger probably. And some animals are mammals. We just don't know how many. We have no idea how or if it touches dogs.
Right. Very nice.
Okay, so that's that. And then the politician one. Where is it? There we go. Politicians. I think it's going to be the same, right?
All politicians are public servants. I don't know. You moved screens too fast.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
So this would be public servants, right? And politicians. Oops. And we got actors over here.
You're right. So, it's the same.
Again, it's the same. Some actor. We don't know if these guys touch politicians and actors.
Although Gabe's argues everything here is wrong because all politicians are dogs.
And they're all actors.
And they're all just a bunch of damn actors.
Okay, so let's see. This argument is fallacious because the term politicians is distributed in the conclusion, but not in the premise that mentions actors. Therefore, we cannot conclude that some actors are politicians just because they share a common feature of being public servants. Now,
that's right.
I believe in this this little section, where was it? It was, I think, back a step. We have here a page on this where they talk about this again, this illicit minor, illicit major.
Well, if you want to leave that where that is right there for the next time we can get together to do a show.
Yeah.
Then I think that would be a good place to pick it back up.
At the time? Yeah. Are we about at that time right now?
Yeah. Yeah, we're about at an hour.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we can I'll just kind of leave all of this in this one tab. And yeah, we kind of skipped ahead over here, but this, I just wanted to kind of show, like, for deductive logic, these are all the formal fallacies that could happen. These all have to do with errors in form and structure. So, it's just kind of fun to get familiar with them, and there's many ways to do a deep dive on every single one of these. So
Yes.
if anything from, and we still need to go through these on
First
the
four.
top here. Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of stuff to come, and I thank you again for hosting this, and
I thank you for doing all the work while I just hang out and tell jokes.
well, you make it easy, so thank you again for that.
It's a pleasure. You are really a treat.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. All right. Well, and you're a wonderful host, and you're very knowledgeable, and I appreciate all of your ways to help everyone learn and get the information reinforced and all that stuff. So it really helps.
Yeah, I have a secret agenda in this, which as soon as you make it public, it's not very secret. But anyway, I'm hoping lots of Christians will watch this and learn to critique and learn to argue, because I see a lot of bad Christian critique and argumentation.
Yeah. There's a thing I think that happens when people that have a specific worldview that sort of binds their ability to fully engage in critical thinking. I think what happens is they start to learn this stuff. They apply it to things outside of their worldview successfully, and at a certain point, it either bothers them that like they have this area of their thinking that they kind of aren't going to apply this to, and they have to admit why. They have to admit that some of the stuff will start to break down, the reasons they think are good enough now to believe. Like, it'll start to break those things down and put little cracks of doubt and things, and that can be problematic for some people, because for some people that would lead straight to the whole thing crumbling. So
there is a lighter side to that.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe things, and I did, that aren't true, and they start to fall apart and crumble because you start to learn things like this, I have a great news for you. There's reality underneath that acts as a safety net that will catch you. So you're in no actual danger. You're only in a perceived danger when you're in that situation. I promise, really, reality is there. It's going to catch you.
Definitely. All right. Those are definitely, that's a wise outlook, and I like that. And I'm looking forward to anyone who's interested in this to engage in it and look for it out in the world and use it in your arguments. And that's it. Basically, it's good stuff.
Good stuff. Thanks again, co-host. I'm going to call you co-host Kaiju. And thanks everybody who came by. If you think this is worth knowing, and you think you know someone who has a mind for this kind of information, it wouldn't be a bad idea to share this video out or recommend it to a friend. Thank you all for coming by. I look forward to the day that we all make sense. Peace.
Good night.